So, good afternoon, all. We all were discussing about the nature of the science. Till now, we had already discussed about the few principles and characters. Already, we have dealt the first five characters of it in the previous lecture. There, we have seen about the objectivity of the science, and we have learned in that whatever science, along with art, religion, philosophy, it is called as the major achievement of the human mind. And whatever scientific methods are there, they have the objective behind it, and it produces the objective results also. So this part actually we have already done, so we'll go a bit faster for it. Then we have learned that the science adds the progressivity into the knowledge. As earlier we were not aware that the earth is not at the center, but earth is also like a planet. Heliocentric approach we had already discussed. So all this knowledge, or we have progressed ahead towards the technological world and new facts with the science only. Then whatever ideas are there behind, whatever scientific ideas are there, these are the universal. And see, whatever ideas are there, it assumes that universe is as a single system. So whatever part or whatever knowledge is applied to one phenomena, it is applicable to all other parts. Say example, law of motion, it is applicable to all form of the forces, whether it is the vehicle, sailboat, massive star. So this is part is the universal scientific knowledge. It is empirically based, that means it believes on the reality and not the vague knowledge. Then when we talk about the scientific knowledge, so many things they do not remain, uh, they just remain unchanged for the longer period of the time, and these are the reliable. But few things, when another theory is been challenged, so that time the science always accept the truth, right? So that there are changes. This part we have just gone through because we had already discussed about it. Now we will be talking about the nature of the science. Next part, that is point 6, observation and inferences. Observation means, yes,
What actually we perceive.
yes, very good. What we perceive, what we see. So scientific knowledge, what we are getting, it is the product of the observation as well as the inferences. Observation which we perceive by observing it. So these are made information from gathering with our senses, in simple way we can say. Often we can say scientific knowledge we get more and more with the help of the technology, right? Technology helped us. Say example, you wanted to know the distance of the moon, or you want to see the thing. So if you will use a telescope, so your observation will be much more higher or better. So say example, you want to see whether this blood contains the plasmodium or not. So if you will observe, you will with naked eyes, so you will observe a drop of blood. But when you will put that drop of blood on the slide, and when you will observe it under the microscope, you will be able to observe the plasmodium. Understood? So with technology, our observation becomes in a better way. Say example, you want to know the antibodies are present into the blood or not, but simply antibody you cannot check because these are the colorless particles, or you can say the colorless protein. But when you will be adding antigen on it, in a simple agglutination test, you will get the agglutination or the clumping. Now this is bit scientific terms, means our body is having the antibodies are the free fighters of our body, which logs whatever antigens are the foreign particle, or in your simple word we can say the germs. So specific antigen के लिए our body perform, or it forms the specific type of the antibody. So these are already there, this type of things are there in our body. But until unless you will not do the reaction, you will not observe whether you have this antibody or not. So we can say this observation becomes very much fine, or it becomes very sharp with the help of the technology. Understood? Now what are the inferences?
What's your opinion?
Good. In simple word, we can say these are the results, right? So inferences are the logical interpretation, what we derive from the combination of our observation, prior knowledge, applying the technology. Understood? Directly we cannot make any type of inferences. Suppose you want to measure the distance of the star, so you cannot make this inferences until and unless you don't know the geometry of calculation the distance from the star. You don't know the theory. Are you following? So these inferences, we can say, are the combination of the observation and prior knowledge, as well as sometimes we require to apply the technology here. Just now I gave you example that you want to observe something very minute and which is beyond our magnification of our eye lens. Okay, normal with eye lens we cannot see something, but for that we require more and more magnified lenses. So maybe it might be your simple microscope, it might be your ocular microscope or anything. So with ocular lens, ocular microscope I'm saying, so you need to apply some technology over it. You need to apply some chemical over it. You need to apply something over it. So until and unless you will not apply the perfect technology, you will not get the observation. Until and unless you will not observe the thing, you will not be able to do the inference of it. Are you following? Any doubt in this?
No, ma'am.
Yes. Shall we go ahead? Now, when we talk about the next principle and characteristic of science, that is the creative thinking. Creative thinking means, see, when science term come, so we think that these are the only logic and the rationality which is already present. Actually, the science is creativity. It is the major source of inspiration and innovation in the science. If this creativity, this thing will not come, this creative idea will not come, so we will not be able to discover more and more things. So all these investigations, all these things, all come from the creativity only. So whatever approaches of the science are there, so it is only and only because of the creative thinking only. And when this approach or this creative thinking, when this satisfy to the peers, that means the other science, that thinking is accepted as a scientific thinking. Now, next about the next principle is laws and theories are different. Laws, scientific laws, these are different from the scientific theory. Can anyone justify this thing? How the laws and theories are different? Do you have any idea about the scientific laws and theories? Yes.
Ma'am, scientific laws like Newton's law of motion,
Hmm.
gravitation laws,
Yes.
and
So,
there are some theories which can be proved practical, like Ohm's law.
hmm. Yes, partly you are right. So, see, laws, it is something which is simply descriptive. It do not explain for what a why phenomena is occur. Say example, when we talk about the any type of law, take the Boyle's law only. Okay, so we say this Boyle's law. It says that at constant temperature, the pressure of gas is inversely proportional to its volume. When I state this law, do you get any idea or any theory behind it? No. So to understand this law, to understand the relationship, what describe what happened under the specific condition, so we need to know the theory. Understood? So explanation for this, why this relationship is happening, we need to understand the theory. So scientific theory, these are, you can say, the supported explanation of the scientific phenomena. You must know the theory behind it, that yes, at the constant temperature what is happening, this gas, this is giving the force, or you can say the pressure to the wall of container. So that's why this relationship is been stated. So these laws are just the statement, okay, and for its understanding we must know the scientific theory. That's why it is said that these laws and this theory, these are the different thing. Understood? So if you know the kinetic theory of the motion, so that time only you can understand the Boyle's law. Understand? Otherwise, if I will just give you a simple law, any law, law of thermodynamics. So if I am giving you law of thermodynamics, so if you don't know what is the thing enthalpy, what is the entropy, you don't know the theory, you will never ever understand that what this law is stating. Understood? So scientific law and this theory, if in a way that these laws, these theories are explaining the law, so these are a bit similar, but these are really go hands to hands. Understood? So these particular laws and theories, before generating and before coming to the normal community, it should be accepted by the scientists, and if it is applicable in all the ways, then only it is accepted by all the scientists. But still, it is not the end, as we have studied that science is never ending process. Always there can be a change with the new evidences. Whenever new knowledge comes, there is a change into the scientific laws as well as the theory. What do you mean by the scientific methods?
Various approaches towards any experiment.
Very good. So variety of approaches, you can say, to develop, to test any type of idea. Say example, you want to know the estimation of the protein. Very simple example I am taking. Actually, you are from arts background, but still, this is scientific method, so I need to give the scientific idea on this. You want to test the protein. Okay. Now you want to just do the qualitative test. There are two type of test, students. Let me elaborate a bit, because you all are from arts background. There are two type of test, especially molecular test. Molecules, what are the molecules? Biomolecules are carbohydrate, protein, vitamin. So all these molecule type of test. So here two type of tests are there. One test is known as the qualitative test. One test is known as the quantitative test. Qualitative test says whether this particular molecule is present into the given sample or not. Then another quantitative test is says that if that particular, say example, protein is present, so how much protein is present. So the quantitative test says the amount of that particular molecule. So now when we do the qualitative test of protein, so there are several methods, Fallen-Slurry method, this method, that method, and all methods are very well accepted. And you can say it is very easy to perform. But it depends that which method you accept and which method you follow, whether you go for fallen slurry or say this method or that method. So whatever method, so we cannot say there is only single scientific method used by all the scientists. Other scientists may have used some other type of test. So the ultimate aim of this scientific method is to find the answer. As you just now said that there are various approaches to find the idea. So this to answer any type of question or to find any type of the scientific discovery, this particular method means there are many type of the method used. So this method include the descriptive studies, it may be experimentation. Just I gave you example of the protein. There may be correlation, that they may correlate this theory with that. Suppose they say example that any type of enzymatic test you are performing, so enzymes are protein, so you are correlating that any type of protein can be tested by the same manner also. Understood? So correlation scientific method is a basic description that how particular experiments are done. So it should be seen in a very important way, but as I told you, it should not always seen in a single way. There may be many way to find out the particular answer. So this all scientists conduct all the investigation. So scientists can understand the natural solved by using variety of scientific methods. Say example, a simple COVID you want to test, okay, whether the patient is COVID positive or negative. So there are several methods. Now, what are all methods? One is simple RA antigen test. Okay. Now this RA antigen test, how we are performing? We are taking the this mucus from the nasal cavity, thoda earbud type, some instrument is there. From that we are simply collecting whatever method they are applying, and they are collecting the mucus from the nose, okay, or the throat. But basically they are collecting from the nose only, and thereafter they have the kit, and in that they check whether the this particular COVID virus is present into the nasal cavity or not. Okay, this is called as the RA test. Then another test is the RT-PCR test. In that they will be observing in a, PCR way. Okay, PCR is one of the scientific technique in which they are doing the you can say magnification of the gene, and whether they observe that this particular thing is present or not. Then फिर उसके बाद में they can do the art simple X-ray they can do. Why they are doing the X-ray? Because this particular virus, it makes the haziness. Okay, haziness. Why? Because they forms the colony, and this particular type of the colony form the bottle glass appearance into the lungs. Okay, so this particular thing looks like haziness into the X-ray. So X-ray can be performed to check if in X-ray haziness is there. This haziness can be caused by the simple cough also. It can be caused by the pneumonia. It can be caused by the TB also. So if haziness is there, so they then can do this CT scan. In the CT scan, proper bottle glass appearance come, and it confirms that this coronavirus is present, because this is the virus which is causing this particular type of the bottle glass appearance into the lung. So now these are the various scientific method, or you can say the various technology for testing a single type of the test, whether the patient is COVID positive or the patient is COVID negative. Are you following? So there are many type of the method for doing a simple or a single type of the test. Shall we go ahead, or you want to add something in that? Yes.
No, ma'am.
Now science explain as well as science predicts. Whatever phenomena are there, like this moving continent and all, so all these things, what do you think? Immediately after the your studying, and immediately the theories have come. Now, for now and for the future, I can predict that this thing can happen. But how the earlier world was, how this Big Bang might have done, how this world has formed. So all this thing has come from the prediction. First, they predict that this might have happened, like earthquake, fossil, and all this thing. They are saying, yeah, things were there, like dinosaurs are not present, but their fossils are present. So these fossils are the dead remain of the organism. So this dead remain of the organism, it says or it predicts that there might be some organism, they might be looking like this, and there were herbivore, and there are earthquake, or there might be some type of the consequences, or there might be some type of the calamities which might have extinct such type of the animals, and that's why they are not present. So all these are the predictions. Because of that, with the help of the prediction only, we can think about into the earlier world. Understand? So whatever existing theories are there, like Big Bang theory, your other theories are there, that the earth temperature was around 1 trillion degrees Celsius at the time of the Big Bang. So all these theories cannot be formed until unless we don't have the predictive power of other theories. So whatever first they predict and thereafter they explain the concepts that this might have happened. So this is because of the prediction. See, in the beginning, when the any type of outbreak of the disease has come, say example we will take the polio nahi lete, covid hi lete, because this is most recent pandemic. So first it was just spreading from one to one contact, then it was very difficult to find out that how this thing is spreading. Then immediately when they find they predict that there is something invisible virus or something which might have come from some other animal, because earlier it was not there. So because of the prediction they come on the conclusion, they did the investigation and they find the scientific method to find out the thing. Understood? So the last principle of the science, that science cannot answer all the question, like what is the true meaning of life and what is the treatment of HIV AIDS. Now we are finding, we are doing the investigation, but till now all the questions are not answered by the science. Many things science cannot answer. Like this, you give me some example. Can science answer you how to respect your parent? Yeah, science can
No.
say that what, how much labor your mother has taken to bring you to this particular world, and this her labor will give you respect to respect matlab give you the feeling of respectfulness about your mother. But science will not tell you how to respect your mother. Say whenever you look at your mother, you should always give respect, you should smile, you should love her, you should care. Automatically this comes from the blood relation. Understood? So likewise science cannot answer all the question, but whatever logic about anything is there in the world, all this logic comes from the science. Just now I gave you example that science will not tell you that you respect your mom, but science has clearly given that the pain of labor or to bring you in the world is the most torturing pain, but your mother takes it for you to bring in this world, so automatically this will bring the respect. Understood? So this is all about the nature of the science, but now we will see how the science help us as a knowledge. So science, we know it is it is an empirical knowledge. Empiricism means, yes.
Something which had happened in the past and now we are uh, explaining about them.
Yes, so we can say that this particular empiricism, it comes from the, I'm sorry, this comes from the sensory experience. So this empiricism, this emphasize the role of experience, whatever we have in our past and whatever evidences we have, especially we can say the sensory perception in the formation of whatever ideas, the notion of innate idea of tradition. So all this thing come from the science. So empiricists may argue, however, that tradition or whatever custom arise due to the relations of previous sense experience. As I told you in the earlier time, no, lot many rituals were there, but when we became very logical, when started learning the science, so we understood the importance of all these things. So empirical knowledge, say once I have given you example that we are doing any type of the prayer, whatever type of prayer we are doing now, from the past the scholar, they have given the idea or you can say the basic principle of praying. Say example the namaz. Okay, so idea was given, but this science, this has proved that when you offer the namaz, so at that particular time the body is getting such a posture that all the muscle they get the relief, and you're especially mean psychologically, and if you are offering the namaz true hearted, all the burden from the mind, it reduces. So this is the empirical knowledge, that past experience we had, that yes, when I am offering namaz, I am getting rid of all this tension, everything. So we get the science, and this is the way, this is called as the empirical knowledge. We are whatever knowledge, previous experiences we have, we are applying our senses over that, and after that we are making a particular type. So whenever you feel like, now see, most of the people say, Arey, whenever you are in trouble, you offer salatul hajat, right? Have you ever heard like this? Once you will offer 2 rakat of salatul hajat, whatever problems are there in your life, that will goes away. So what is the science behind it? That your mind and soul come together and you pray. When you pray, your mind sets, yes, I have to do this thing. Okay, and you only do, and Allah supports you. So these are the empirical knowledge. So empiricism in the philosophy of science, it emphasizes the evidences. Just now I gave you the idea of the evidence, that my mind, everything said at that particular point, yes, after doing this. So when this happen, when this idea will come, especially after doing the experiment, until and unless you will not do that particular type of the experiment, so this particular evidence you will never realize. So it is the fundamental part of the scientific method. Oh, student, I'm extremely sorry, I lost the internet connection because of the electricity error.